Hi, welcome. I'm Tom, your host, and this is the DROPCAST Movie Poster Podcast, Release Edition. This format is part of the Instagram blog Drop, and you can find us under @DropMacOfficial. We do reviews, news, and interviews that all have to do with the film business. And I mentioned that the New York Comic Con came up, and we have a bunch of releases for you guys. And there's so many that I have to split them in half, and you will get the other half in 2 weeks. So stay tuned for that. But I have a headliner today, and this is none other than Matt Ryan Tobin. He has done so many great pieces, and there are two of them that are going to be in the big poster madness that I mentioned at the Amp Jam before. And yeah, you stay tuned for that, and our headliner will talk to us about the way he made this poster, and yeah, we're going to talk about it, how cool that film is, and that poster, of course. So stay tuned, head over to our Instagram profile @DropMacOfficial to follow along for the art, and check out the video version if you want to see some more stuff. And now I welcome Matt Ryan Tobin. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Tom.
it's a final pleasure. I mean, I tried a couple times in the past, but we couldn't never make it happen time wise. But now I have finally a chance, and you're still on the list, by the way, for a long interview. So we have to.
Oh, long interview.
This the one. That's the one I did with Sarah. You just started watching it. You told me before, but yeah, those are the long ones, and I still have you on that list to do that because. I have multiple prints of yours, and I love you as an artist, so this is definitely on my list there. Okay, you made this beautiful The Crow print. I'm gonna show that to the people out there for a second before we jump into it, and you can tell us what are the measures, dimensions of this whole thing, and how many or how big was the run and stuff like that.
Okay. See what I can remember.
So, what is the dimension of it? It was 24 by 36, right?
24 by 36. Yeah. I believe I can't remember how many colors. I'd say around like 5 or 6 colors on the regular and a little less on the variant. Yeah. I think that's it.
The run size. How big was it?
Oh, the run size, I think the regular edition was 225, and the variant was 125.
Okay, yeah. So it's kind of a lot, but not that there's too many. Are they gonna be APs? I think you made a post about that, right?
Yeah, there will be APs. I'm going to drop them on Devil's Night, October 30th. I'm not sure what time yet. Thinking maybe later, maybe something like midnight. So I guess it would be the night of the 29th going into the 30th, maybe.
Okay, and do you have like a number of like how many do you have? Do you know?
I'm not sure yet. I don't know how many copies I will really receive until they arrive. I don't have them on hand yet, but it will be very few though. I'm not going to put up.
I figured. I mean, a lot of people loved it, and a lot of people were butthurt because it was their childhood favorite movie, and everybody was dressing up as the Crow in their days, and like when it came out and stuff like that. So people really loved this print. And how did it happen? How did you contact Mondo? Did you come up with it? Did they come to you? What was that?
Actually, I reached out to Mondo. I was working on a project, a poster for a documentary series on Shudder called Cursed Films. That kind of highlighted, I think it's 5 or 6 episodes that highlighted famous cursed films, like films that have had a lot of things go wrong on set, or sets that were apparently haunted, or things like that. And one of the episodes actually covered The Crow, and I've always loved The Crow, but I think it kind of like, in terms of films that I would put on like a top list, it fell by the wayside over the years just because I hadn't seen it in so long. But working on the poster for that series, I went back and watched the film again, and I was like, oh man, this film is still great. And I don't know why it's taking me so long to watch it again,
So you would definitely say that it holds up, right?
I think that it holds up. I mean, there's some dated things like visual effects, mostly. I think a lot of the editing, that sort of 90s flashes and all that kind of stuff is still there, but it kind of suits the film too in of itself. So I don't it doesn't change my perspective when I'm watching it. I don't judge it like that. You know what I mean? I judge it more on
Yeah.
nostalgia, you know.
Did
But
this happen like that the idea came that when you rewatched the movie, or was it like always in the back of your mind that you always wanted to do the print for it, or?
no, I never thought about doing a poster for The Crow. I don't think ever until I rewatched it
Mhm.
now, because I think I got inspired, you know, seeing it again now. And so I actually I had a concept, and it's the first concept, I believe I sent it
Yeah.
to you. It's titled like
Yeah.
version
I pulled
one,
that up. Hold up. Yeah.
and
With it's the black and white one, right?
yeah,
Hmm.
yes, the white background, yeah. So I sent I pitched that to Mondo. That was the concept that kind of came to mind, you know, keeping it very minimalist and sort of classic. I just assumed, I guess, you know, sometimes you run into certain restrictions with likenesses and stuff
Yeah.
working on certain properties, and I just kind of assumed, you know, well, this is, you know, I've never seen too many um, official Crow
Yeah.
artwork out there for any sort of like what to steer away from or anything. So I just kind of pitched this and says, you know, just it was a concept that came to mind, and I was like, let's just see,
Mm.
you know, if this sticks. So I pitched it. It was actually, looking back, it's about
Okay.
a year ago to this month. Yeah,
Yeah,
that I
man,
set
it's
that up.
it's been a while, and
Mhm,
you send
mhm.
also a version 2 where you have like the cityscape and the lower bottom. Did you send them both out at the same time, or was it like after they said, "Hey, let's do
Yes,
this," and then okay,
I sent them both out at the same time. Yeah, one version
hmm
with the cityscape and one without, just to show some
okay,
dynamic,
but it wasn't
some
like a
depth.
variant kind of type situation. Okay,
No,
okay,
no, no. No, I think it was more I wanted it to feel like one the version without the cityscape kind of was just this isolated
hmm
image, you know. And then with the cityscape kind of was the idea was to create the sense that the crow was looking over the city, but also, which you'll see in other concepts that I'm sure
yeah,
you'll pull up, kind of to have the guitar headstock sort of um, like or not symbolistic, but resemble like a cliff, or not a cliff, like
yeah,
the
yeah,
edge
yeah,
of a
yeah,
building, like some sort of ornate
like
object
a
that hangs off the
gargoyle
edge,
type of thing. Yeah.
like a gargoyle. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
and I just pulled up the version 3 where it has the guitar in it, and
Hmm.
you also have like kind of the same details in version 4, but you did a landscape version of it.
Yes.
Why did you decide for, or why did this came even up with the landscape version?
You know, it's just playing
Okay.
around with it, really. You know, sometimes when you work on something, and I worked on this quite a bit. Your eyes get a little bit exhausted of looking at the same thing long enough. So you're like, okay, maybe this is the total wrong perspective. Maybe I should do this as a landscape versus a portrait, create more of an atmosphere of
Hmm.
Detroit and have the actual city. Sometimes I really enjoy doing landscape work just because it feels more
Hmm.
atmospheric. Do you know what I mean? You're able to work that in, but you know, classic movie poster is usually portrait style. So that was just me kind of dabbling. There was probably a dozen different slight different variations of the poster like that. And that was just
Yeah.
one of them.
What is the difference to like you gave me a version 5 or V4 you called it, where's there's
Hmm.
no background, just a gray background. What did you want to put in the background? And you basically rearranged the landscape here.
Well, the background would have just been
Okay.
minimalist. Would have been
Okay.
nothing. Would have been like that. I kind of like the idea of the rain being the sort of knockout. You can see in the image the rain's also gray, so it would be a complete knockout. Just something just
Mhm.
stylistically different, different sort of
Okay.
composition.
And did you art direct the whole thing, or did you get help from Mitch or from Eric or from whoever?
Oh yeah, I was dealing with all three of them in the email. You know, so there was definitely a lot of back and forth, and like usual, like when Eric, Rob, or Mitch have a creative, you know, suggestion, 99.99999 times it's the right way
Hmm.
to go. Do you know what I mean? Almost 100% of the time it's the right way to go. They just got a real good eye for not, um, you know, completely transforming your idea, but just ways of
Mm.
elevating it, and that's what makes them so good at their job.
Yeah.
You know, so one of those things was to kind of one of those things that I remember that Rob suggested was to eliminate the guitar headstock as
Okay.
a sort of
Yeah.
podium. And
I kind of like the idea, I have to
it
say,
was,
but I understand.
yeah, but you know what? I think it's a little too on the nose. I think it's a little too. It worked when it was just the
Yeah,
crow perched on the headstock, but I think having him perched on it, yeah, it
yeah,
just
but
a little too
yeah, but
hokey, I
changing it
think.
to the to his back, basically, I think that was the better choice. That's right. So
Hmm.
definitely
Yeah,
took that in the right direction there. um,
yeah, yeah, and and they really wanted to feature Brandon as well. Once we found out that we were
yeah.
allowed to show Brandon,
Okay.
that kind of changed everything. I always try to, in a lot of my work, like try to avoid doing likenesses. I like doing really
Mm-hmm.
conceptual stuff if I can. But you know what? When it came down to this poster, like there hasn't been one really done before that I know
Mm.
of, at least. Um, and I think it just felt right to just do a really nice hero shot of Brandon, of Eric Draven, and just trying to capture the essence of the film in a single image rather than trying to overthink it too much and dig too deep and
Yeah.
into the
Yeah,
metaphor.
and
So
did you do all like the layer and saps by yourself, or is Mondo helping out? Or yeah, you doing it by yourself?
no, yeah, yeah. I learned very early on in my career when I first started designing merch for my
Mm.
old band how to separations. And so, but I mean, I'm pretty confident in my abilities to do all that kind of stuff. But there's just certain things that other people will give me some help
Yeah.
with or whatever. But for the most part,
Okay.
yeah, it's
And yeah, we already talked about the APs, but before we come to an end, I mean, this is just a beautiful piece, and I mentioned already that it's going to be
thanks.
in the Poster Madness, the March Madness style tournament for all the best posters of 2020. I picked them so people can complain about that, but or not. I hope I made some good choices for you to vote out on there. But before we, as I said, before we come to an end, I want a short movie review of The Crow. What did you like? What didn't you like? And what is the rating from 0 to 10 for you?
Man, it's honestly, I'm sure if I really sat down and nitpicked, I could find flaws, but I don't think I need to. I think the film is great. I don't think it's a perfect film, but I don't think there exists really a perfect film except for maybe Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. That's pretty perfect. But but no, man, I give it a solid 9 out of 10. Like other than like the visual effects in some areas, which is nothing. Again, it's just you know, it's the
Yeah.
spirit of the times. That's what that is. So you can't really harken on or give that too
Mhm.
much shit. But I think the film's great, man. I think the soundtrack is awesome.
Is that your kind of
Um,
background of the music you're doing with your band and stuff like that, or is that?
yeah, well, I was a touring musician for over
Mhm.
10 years, and that was my career for a very long time. And then I would kind of do a lot of my illustration and graphic design on the
Mm.
road, do merch for other bands and
Dude,
things like that. So,
is the band very known? Because I'm like, I don't know.
I mean, like maybe I don't
Because
know. We did pretty well. We toured the second to last tour we did was actually across the
okay.
pond, and we played all over in Europe with a band called Norma Jean and the Chariot. So we did on a tour bus over there. That was
Okay.
a lot of fun. But that was in like 2013, 2012,
Okay.
2012. So a while.
I see.
But that band broke up. We're not a band anymore. I have another band, but also just kind of on
Okay. I see.
hiatus. More of a passion
I see. I
project.
see.
Yeah.
And did you ever make it out to Berlin?
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. On that tour, yeah, yeah. We actually played like 7 or 8 shows
All
in
right.
Germany, and they were actually. And I'm not saying this because I have
Yeah.
you here, but I think Germany's my favorite place we played
Okay.
in all
Cool.
of Europe. Like in terms of just the
Yeah.
crowds and people and like the appreciation of bands that had come so far. It makes you like you look at North America like, man, everyone here's a spoiled brat. You know what I mean? Like you over there and in Europe and everyone's just so awesome and so open
Yeah,
armed.
so maybe you're gonna make it out at some point. Not if it's a band, but come out as an artist. That would be
Yeah.
also great.
Oh, I'd
I
love to. I'd love to go back.
if things gonna get better, fingers crossed, it's gonna happen. Um, I
Mhm.
will definitely. I'm trying to work on a show like especially with the artists that I talked on here before, so like have them on as a community show. But we'll see if that's gonna happen or not. But I really would love to do that. So.
Yeah, man, that would be super cool.
All right. This is it. That we talked about your poster. Do you want to add something? Say something to your fans out there, or anything particular?
Be excellent to each other.
That's the perfect motto. Yeah. So, but by the way, that's a 10 out of 10 film you have, right? The other ones are not 10 out of 10. I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right, Matt. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. I know you're busy,
Tom.
and keep up the great work. And let me buy a lot of prints of you.
You too.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, dude. I
All
really
right.
appreciate it. Looking forward to talking
Sure.
to you soon.
Take care, man. Bye bye. All right, now we talked to Matt Ryan Tobin, and it was such a pleasure to have him on the show. And now we will get into the releases. And as you can see already, there are so many this time. New York Comic Con has been great with so many cool releases. The ones I didn't cover, I will definitely put in the next release edition in 2 weeks. But let's get started with the first one. And the first one is The Goonies by Drew Struzan. This was a timed edition, 24 by 36 inch print, 15 color screen print, and it has been available also in a variant edition in art. It's called Art Print Edition, and there were only an edition of 200, and this one was without the title block and all of that. I think I have to say the timed edition in this case is the better choice, since a lot of people love the title and the credit block and all those things. And I think this is the way to go with this one. I think the negative space that is missing here in the art print edition kind of throws me off a little bit. I like the title version better. Then there's some new prints by Alice Z. Zhang, and she did some amazing Wonder Woman stuff, and this called a Winged Victory of Themyscira, and this is a 22 by 14 inch fine art giclée. This version was timed edition as well, and there's also a variant A and a variant B, and they are there's like more of a color blocking going on in this version. I think that's very cool. I think that's my favorite version of this one with the gray background and the gold. I think that pops very well. This one's also interesting. I like both variants better than the timed edition in this case, but they are all very cool. The first version I showed you was available 150 times, and this version is available only 100 times. Then she also did a timed edition for her Harvey. I want to say Harvey Dent. No, it's Harley Quinn, obviously. And Hit Me With Your Best Shot. That's what it's called. And this is a fine art giclée, 13 by 19 inches. Also a hand numbered timed edition that goes along with a variant that was available 100 times, and the variant, I think the variant is the better color choice here in this case because it's more fitting for Harley in my opinion, but the artwork itself is always brilliant. I really like the style of Alice, and she does amazing work. Then we have another timed edition, but this one is of a giclée piece, not giclée piece, I'm sorry, of a lenticular 1mm PET mounted on high density paper backing giclée piece. Giclée, why am I talking giclée? What am I doing here? It's early, people, I'm sorry. 24 by 36 inches, that's the size of this one, and this turns out to be a very cool piece, and with the shark obviously, and there's also been a limited 450 edition piece for this kind of Jaws print. But it's more of a like a art version of it, and this one is my personal favorite because it focuses on the artwork itself. I don't need the title treatment for the lenticular, and I think this looks really cool and more impressive, I have to say, in terms of, because the shark like moving in water, I think that's a very cool addition. It's a 4mm polystyrene, also 24 by 36 inches, and it's a limited edition of 450. Both of them going to ship in 2021, so it will take some time. but this comes also, or this was also in a co-release with Vice Press. So definitely check that one out. Very, very cool stuff. Yeah, and the next one up is Juan Ramos. I had him in an interview, and this interview will be released on October 28th. So check that one out. It's definitely worth it. And yeah, this is such an amazing piece by Juan Ramos. He really loves to play with the light and like puts his unique style on this piece. And this one is 18 by 36 inches. His new love of this dimensions, and it's a hand numbered edition of 350. And it has blacklight reactive inks. This one probably pops so much. If people have it in hand at some point, I sadly didn't get it, but if people have it in hand, let me know. I will. I want to see the reactive inks and how it looks on the blacklight and everything. So that's going to be very, very cool stuff. So stay tuned for that at some point in the future. Also, Matt Ferguson gave us a new print in his Batmobile series, and this one is just incredible. Batman 1966, the Dutch angle in there looks amazing, driving into or out of the Batcave there. And this one is a 36 by 24 inch edition, hand numbered, 200 a piece, and yeah, this one is the variant for that. I think I have to say the regular looks a little bit cooler because it gives this kind of Batman feel to it. But this warmer edition was available 100 times, and also Batman 66. Yeah, classic Batman right there. That's a great piece. Matt Ferguson always knocks it out of the park. Then we have another Batman piece, but this is Batman Begins by Dolly with this beautiful, with the flower Batman has to recover basically. And this is an 18 by 24 inch print. It's a hand numbered edition of 125. And yeah, Bottleneck and Dolly, they work together very well and have some great pieces. And yeah, this one, I really enjoy this one. The simplicity of it with the negative space, focusing on this flower that is an important part in the movie to some extent. And people have done this before with the flower. I forgot who it was, Kevin Tong maybe. I'm not sure, but somebody did a piece of that was really cool. So yeah, this one also very good. Dolly, we're gonna come back to Dolly later on. He has some more stuff with gray matter art that we're gonna cover. But now I'm going over to Batman the Animated Series, another Batman the Animated Series print. There's so many coming out right now, and this is by Stephen Reeves. And Steve Reeves is such a cool artist. He revealed this piece. That was a long time ago. I think like 6 months or so. It's definitely been a while. And Bottleneck picked it up. It's a 16 by 24 inch piece, hand number edition of 125 and 325, and it looks very cool. I really like that one. But he also has a variant which is the far superior version, and got all the bad guys in the background there. Such a great print, really loving it. And yeah, maybe that's a start of or I think it's the first piece that Steven has out in the gallery. So maybe that's a start for him that we will see more of this in the future. But we're not finished with Batman the Animated Series, because there is the Mask of the Phantasm poster for this episode, and this is by Sam Gilby, and this is a fine Archie clay, not a screen print, fine Archie clay, 16 by 24 inches as well, and this is a hand numbered edition of 100. And Sam Gilby is such a cool guy, also Poster Posse member. He's been on Amjam Con, and yeah, he does a very good job collaging this together and like focusing on the important parts. I love how like those simple elements that just go out of the framing is really cool. And yeah, that's a very cool piece. There's also a noir variant, they call it, and this is a hand number edition of 50, also looking very cool. But I think I like the colored version in this one better. Yeah, the next one we already talked about with Matt Ryan Tobin, and yeah, I'm just going to show it again here. This one is the Crow piece. It has been an edition of 225 for the regular version, 24 by 36. We already mentioned that. That's an incredible piece. Definitely, a lot of people wanted it. And this is the variant version, which is way cooler in my opinion. I really like the variant better in this case. 125 times available, but I hear that's sold out. Aftermarket is looking for it. So yeah, if you want one, check out for the APs. We were talking about it earlier. So you have the dates and the information for that. And yeah, these are obviously done by Mondo. The ones before were all by Bottleneck, and we have 2 more Mondo prints, I think. And this one is by 100% Soft. Really liking this dude. He's turning out some really cool prints. This is a 36 by 24 inch edition of 275. It is printed by DL Screen Printing, and he always like takes this interesting spin, like as I mentioned before, and on other pieces, like Scott C. cutifying in this regard. Some horror aspects, in the Return of the Living Dead and stuff like that. So that's a really cool print. And Truck Torrance did a really good job on that again, and he has always some very cool ideas on how to do something different than the usual prints we see. And there's another foray into the Black Dragon press releases with Mondo. This is the 22nd edition of it, and it's about Babette's Feast. It's printed by White Duck Editions. It's 18 by 24 inches, an edition of 100. And I have not seen the movie, but I like how Mondo works together with Black Dragon Press and puts a very, very artsy spin on this. And this print by Sterling Hundley is very interesting and different from the usual poster stuff you see. And I think it is really, really cool work on his part. And something different you don't see every day. So this is it for Mondo. And we will turn over to Gray Matter Art. And Gray Matter Art turned out this beautiful piece. And this is the Spider-Man Into the Multiverse. There's a foil edition, 175 times. By Guillaume Morelec. I hope I pronounced that right. And there's also a variant edition, which is like a paper edition. It's also screen printed paper, the usual way, because people prefer sometimes screen printed version. But the foil is always like really getting into that, and this captures the Spider-Verse vibe with the spray cans on top on there and a graffiti on the water tower there. That's very cool. We got in the background all the people to see, and yeah, cool stuff in terms of the Spider-Verse. But we will have some more Spider stuff later on. But now, take a look at this beautiful Iron Giant piece. This is by Tom Whalen. Obviously, people that have Tom Whalen pieces, they know what they look like, and those colors always pop when you have it in hand. It's great. And this is the regular edition, 36 by 24 inches, 7 color, 3 metallic inks print, and this is an edition of 150. And there's also a variant with 8. It's an 8 color edition, and this 8 color edition, also with 3 metallic inks, has been available 125 times. And this one must pop in person so much. I like those vibrant, very intense colors. The contrast between them is really cool. And this is just a great Iron Giant print. Really loving it. Yeah, and then we have a bunch of concept art that we've seen before. I think it's the 3rd or the 4th series of this, and Ryan Meinerding did these, and these have been printed on 24 by 13, or this Infinity War concept art has been printed on 24 by 13 inches as a G-Clay print by Gray Matter Printing, and this edition of 150. Then we have this Endgame concept art, really looking cool there, 24 by 11.5 inches, available 125 times. Then we have some older Age of Ultron concept art, 24 by 11 inches, also 125, edition of 125. And the last piece by Ryan Meinerding is this one here, the Black Panther concept art, 24 by 11.5 inches, an edition of 125. Then we have also some Andy Park thrown in there. We've seen him also before with this Captain America Civil War concept art, and it's 24 by 12 inches print, an edition also of 125. And this is part 3. You can see again here the whole set was available as well, and they're all hand numbered. Very cool set. And there was also a bonus giveaway if you was it the first 100 or something like that? I don't know. I think the first 100 orders got that. And it's this Black Panther concept art giveaway. This looks really cool. Really, really cool stuff by Grey Matter Art on their end. Then we have some more Batman stuff. And this time it is by Neil Davies. And Neil Davies did the whole trilogy. So Batman Begins, as you can see here, they're all 24 by 36 inches and an edition of 125 printed by Valhalla. I think the concept is really cool. I like the idea of it, and the character treatment looks really interesting and I think that's very much on point on Neil Davies' part with the bat light in the back there, and then this one is for the Dark Knight, and then we have the not so much liked The Dark Knight Rises here on this end. And the whole trilogy maps out the Batman logo, the Bat logo, and I think that's a really cool addition to it. Like going around, and this kind of triptych works really well, and that's a cool set. It was available as a set as well, so you didn't have to buy all of them, obviously, as a single version if you wanted to. And yeah, we have another, we're going to go back to the MCU, have another print, and this is one by Flory, and haven't seen him in a minute, but this Flory piece is really cool. This is a Doctor Strange foil edition of 150, looking very amazing. And then there's also this is the foil edition. The regular edition was not that much available, or a little more available, I'm sorry. And this one is really cool. And the colors must pop in person so much, and I think the foil edition is a real treatment for that. And yeah, those crystals and those kind of shroom-ish world is turned out really great, and I can't wait for the multiverse to go on and have some more Doctor Strange stuff in the future. And then, as I promised, we're going to go back to Dolly, and Dolly did some very cool pieces. First one is for the Spider-Man PS4 game by Dolly, and this is a hand-numbered screen print, 18 by 24 edition of 100, and printed by the Half and Half. And this one covers all the cool characters from the Spider-Man game, it's got Spider-Punk in there, and I really like this Spider-Verse concept and the different Spider-Man there. And can't wait for the new one that Dolly also made a print for, and it's the Miles Morales Spider-Man version, and it's got the Daily Bugle on there, and it's called A New Spider-Man is Here, and I think that's a really cool way of doing it. They were available as a set, obviously, so to go along with this one, looking really, really cool. Then we have some Wolverine Max 14 by Jock. Really cool print. I love Jock's style, and the Wolverine Max series was really cool when it came out, and to turn it into a print, I really love to read it. The storyline was very cool, and like the art in that one is just amazing. So yeah, Jock's work is very cool. 18 by 24, hand numbered on is a fine art G Clay by Hot Press Bright. It's called here hot press bright. I don't know what that means, but if they're the printing, because it says also gray matter printing here, and it's an edition of 125. And yeah, so if you haven't read the comics, feel free to check it out. It's definitely worth it to look into that. And then we're going to have the last part of the gray matter art that came out over New York Comic Con for the metaverse thing. And this is all part of all from the Raid of his Noir series, which is really cool. It's Spider-Man Versus. And yeah, you got the Green Goblin in this one, really cool. They're all 8 by 12 inches, and they're all edition of 150, also available as a set. So that's some really cool stuff. Perfect, like smaller sizes, really cool. And yeah, I have some more for you. Obviously, this is Spider-Man versus Carnage, as you can see here. Got the city in there most of the time. And I think there's like in all of them, kind of the city in there, and I think that's really cool stuff. And yeah, this one is the next one is Venom. You can see, and it's basically in Times Square there, looking really cool. Yeah, the city, the architecture is always in there. We talked about that with Ray, that he really loves to include this kind of city style for his prints, especially when we had him on for the Batman the Animated Series live gallery reveal in this regard. And yeah, this one, yeah, with Vulture in this one, yeah, really cool stuff, swinging around the neighborhood. Then we got also the Punisher in there, and like Spidey is like really tiny there, but this is like a really cool Punisher piece, Spider-Man vs. Punisher. And then last but not least, we have the all-time Doc Ock in there, looking really cool. Got the reflection on the glasses here. Got the city in the background. Cool stuff. And yeah, the set has been also like available, and I think they look great together, especially with this, with the reds in there, and basically the black and white, or like black and gray colors for the rest. And by the way, there was also another giveaway for the second day, I think it was, or third day for the Comic-Con, and it's this Avengers Age of Ultron Iron Man MK44 concept art. It was also an edition of 100. Okay, now we're gonna go over to this beautiful piece here, and it's by Spoke Art. This is My Neighbor Hayao, and yeah, this is all the Spoke Art art that came out, or I don't know if it's collected, but I think it's all that came out with Spoke Art, or that they had in their in through the years, because they have a lot of Ghibli Miyazaki stuff, and it's incredible. This book is definitely worth the price. So get it. It's $30 on the Spoke Art webpage, and if you can get it here, you can get it here in Germany or Europe as well. And there are so many cool prints in there, and their artwork is incredible. I wish they put it down if it were sold out, or when it was released. That would have been a little bit more helpful in that part. And yeah, great stuff by Spoke Art. I think Ken Hashimoto did it, or for Hashimoto Gallery. I don't know if like his last name's Herman Gallery or something like that. Yeah, he did good curating this book and curating the art of Spoke Art, and yeah, some cool stuff to look at. That's definitely worth a buy, this art book. Then we have some more Spoke Art stuff, since we're talking about it, and this one is by Joshua Budig, and the title is We Are in the Nazi Killing Business. And cousin, business is booming. This is a long title. It's a mouthful, but it's from the movie, obviously, and this is a screen print. There's a regular edition of 150, and the dimensions are 24 by 36. Joshua Budig, always like, he's doing those. He did Once Upon a Time in Hollywood before, and so I cannot wait what's going to be next. If they're going to do Django Unchained or something like that. But Joshua Budig tackling those Tarantino pieces is really cool. There's also a foil edition again, and the foil edition is also looking very cool. And I think a lot of people went for that one. It was available only 75 times. So yeah, I hope you grab one if you had the chance. Okay, and George Townley is back. He did some other movie-related artwork, and this one is the Hook and Ladder 8. It's obviously the Ghostbusters print, archival pigment print here, edition of 150, 18 by 24. And I love his style. The colors are always very cool, and this like architecture he captures is great. Love that he's doing that. And there's I know for a fact that there's going to be more of this series. So if you grab one, there's going to be more. You need to collect those. Those are all really, really cool. Next one is by Jermaine Bartholomew Manger, and he did the Simpson movie. And this is also an archival pigment print, edition of 100, 24 by 36 inches. And yeah, the Simpsons, that's a classic right there. Yeah, I don't know what to think about the series anymore, but it's okay to watch, but nothing to like write home about in my opinion so far. I don't know. It's been better years ago, but that's how it always is, I guess. What are we in, the 30th or 31st season or something like that, or 33 even? I'm not sure. But yeah, but the print is really cool. Cool collage of all the things that are happening, and like has a lot of characters in there, and that's really great. Spider Pig is in there, so that's cool. And yeah, good job on Jermaine's work there. And yeah, moving on to a Dune piece. And this Dune piece is by Concepcion Studios. I hope I pronounced it right. And it's Arrakis Revolt. That's what it's called. It's a digital print, and it's an open edition, and it is 12 by 18 inches. And yeah, Concepcion Studios, they have they have a very cool style to their posters. Very artsy, very different, very designy. And I really like it, and that's an open edition, and so you can't go wrong with an open edition on this one, I'd say. Another very cool up-and-coming artist is Dakota Randall, and he did this wonderful Raising Arizona piece. And yeah, it's a Coen Brothers movie. I really like this postcard kind of style for this, and it's edition of 100. It is 24 by 18, very good size, and the colors pop so much. The characters look very well drawn. I like where this is going. He has a Star Wars series for like character portraits. They also look amazing. They should go along with the Joshua Budick versions for his what's it called, the Mind Trick, Jedi Mind Trick series. Am I wrong? No, I'm wrong, right? Yeah, I think I'm wrong. But yeah, you know what I'm talking about. We covered it last time, I think, in the releases. And then we also have the last print here by that goes for Spoke Art, and it's by Ise Anafada. We talked about Ise before, and this is a Neon Genesis Evangelion print. There's been a regular edition of it and a foil variant. The regular was available 200 times, the foil variant 100 times, and it is 36 by 24 inches, hand numbered. Yeah, this is for fans, obviously probably a great piece. I'm not very familiar with Neon Genesis Evangelion. I know that it exists and know a little bit, but yeah, not my type of print. But I think the execution of this print and how Ise puts all like the movies and that she covers all in one print with like those little details, and I think that's very well done here as well. And yeah, this is definitely worth a look here. Okay, moving on to our next piece, and this is the 1988 fake gig posters collection. They've done it. There's some cool stuff that they churned out here. I really enjoy looking at it. There's some very cool artists in there that are not that known, but they're up and coming. And yeah, for like movie pieces and stuff in the future. I really enjoyed this Brian Arendt figure in the end, and the Moodle Nodes frame print for and their song Ashes of Jeddah. I think that's a really cool idea on taking that on, and you can see a lot of gigs for the poster world here, and I think turned out really well with those fake gig ones. Really enjoyed it. Got some Riverdale in here, as you can see, and there's some really cool art in there. Not everything is sold out yet, so check into that if you like the idea of like gigs in that regard in movies, or like certain events that happen in movies and that play a pivotal role maybe, and they covered it really, really well. But they also have another edition, and this one or another collection they have. There's a Mallrats one, and there's some really cool pieces in the 17th and Oak did a really cool one here. I really enjoyed that one. But different moments from the world. The bat is basically depicted a lot, and there's some really cool stuff, as I said. But my favorite from this collection is the one by, let's see if it's on the second page. It's the one by George Gray, Ralston Design, who has had a kind of similar idea to this year one Jason Chaker piece here. And there it is. This is my favorite one. Ralston Design did like a really cool comic book variant for Mallrats, and red and yellow is available. It looks just amazing. Really, really enjoyed that one. And so cool stuff for Mallrats who really enjoyed that. Is definitely a fan of this movie. You should definitely look into that. As I said, not everything is sold out, and grab one if you can. And we're moving over to the Moore Art Gallery. There's going to be a special out next week, in the week before Halloween, and but we covered their artwork, and this is one of the pieces by Luke Precy, and he did the Stormtrooper one because they have a Stormtrooper license, I heard, and we talked about that on the show as well, on the special. So check into that. And this is an edition of 100, and then we have a variant for that. This is printed by White Duck, 18 by 24. The variant is my favorite in that of all of these, and it's available 50 times. And the details on these are incredible, and you should see it. You should check it out. It's even though you can see it in the video here, but it looks better if you have if you look at the digital file yourself. And there has also been a foil version for this, which has also been available 50 times. Liking the idea here, and there's so much be done with Stormtroopers. And I talked already to James from the gallery that the Zombie Trooper is a must by people. So go grab those Stormtroopers, and if everything goes right, we can have the Zombie Trooper. And if you want a Zombie Trooper, comment. I want to hear the comments if you want a Zombie Trooper or not. And there's also been by Travis Knight. It's called Death from Above. And it's like a risograph. It's called a risograph. It's an edition of 100, and it comes with specs for it to look at them. And it's a little bit different because it reveals on which eye you close, which version you look at, and then there is the blue one, obviously, with the TIE pilot here, and then underneath it, when you look with the red one, it's a crazy skull, like the Freight Stormtrooper here. And or TIE pilot in this case. It looks very cool, very interesting stuff, and something that has never been done in my recollection of 5 years now collecting. So I think this is somewhere to go. And Travis Knight, he has some more of those. I checked his Instagram out, and and there's some cool stuff in there to check out for you as well. So that's been a lot of artwork, and as you can see already in the overview again. But next time we will have some more. I didn't cover everything from New York Comic Con releases because it's been so much so far. But I hope you enjoyed the show that we talked to Matt Ryan Tobin. I hope you enjoyed the releases. Follow us on Instagram at DropMacOfficial if you can, please. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find it under DropMac. And yeah, this is it for today. I'll see you next week when we're going to have, I think, Phantom City Creative is going to be on next week for our interview edition. And then the week after, we're going to have another release edition with the rest of the art, as I told you before. All right, guys, take care. I'll see you soon.